Hey onesies, Josh Williams here, and thanks for checking out this week's episode of the One Man Podcast. It's always free and available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, and many more, as well as on the web at onemanpodcast.com. So please, whatever platform you're listening on, like and subscribe. While you're at it, give it a rating, leave a review. Why? Because it helps the podcast, and I'd really appreciate it. How about that? What about social media? Search One Man Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with what's going on there. Get a little extra content for yourself. And finally, to get in touch, please send your emails to contact@onemanpodcast.com. You send it, I read it on the podcast. That's the deal. Thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode.
What's up, everybody? This is DJ Demers.
I'm K. Trevor Wilson.
Hey, it's Krista Allen.
Hi, this is Rick Mercier.
What's up, guys? This is Paul Verzi, and you are listening to the One Man Podcast. Yeah!
My name is Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 193 for Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. How's it going, onesies? How are you guys doing? You guys having the best day ever? Living your lives, enjoying things? My Ontario residents, are you guys doing good amongst quarantine, lockdown? Everyone else, wherever you are you locked down again, or are things coming out the other side? Or has your country responsibly completely gone back to normal because you've handled this? You just shut the gates and said, you know what, everybody? Like a Walking Dead episode where it's Alexandria and its community and everyone's growing tomatoes and found a way to generate solar energy and everyone's doing fine, but you're like, but you know what? We still need our guards along the wall to make sure nobody from the outside gets in. Basically, is your country an Alexandria? You know, it's only so long. They had the prison too. Speaking purely in Walking Dead terms, there was the prison, but then someone crashed a tank through the front of that. Spoiler alert. You know, if you're like, oh, come on. It's 10, 11 seasons into The Walking Dead, and I'm saving it. It's gone so off the rails now. Not my intention to speak about that at all, but just, hey, how's your country doing? How's your province doing? How's your city doing? How are you doing? I'm recording this in the middle of the night. It is early morning, January 20th. January 19th was my birthday. Thank you. Oh, thank you. And lots of love came from all over the places. I'll talk about that. I've got lots of cool stuff to talk about the Collector's Box, the One Man Podcast 200th episode limited edition Collector's Box. Stuff has started to come in. Ooh, I'm excited. And I'm doing this kind of smooth jazz radio voice because I know Auphonic should help raise my levels, but I also don't want to be rude and wake everybody else up. I've turned my bedroom into like a One Man Podcast 200th episode limited edition collector's box fulfillment center. So I've received a bunch of the stuff. I'll tell you all about it, but I've just got stacks of stuff everywhere. Organized chaos, but it is still like I'm running out of room to put things. And as more items come in, that room will get smaller and smaller, but I'll tell you all about the stuff we got, stuff that's coming in. There's some updates on some of the other things. And of course, while I've been sitting here, working on all of that, I've been putting TV shows and movies on the background. I'll tell you about those. So, stuff I watched, updates in the box, things that went on for my birthday, and then a couple other little thingies here and there I will tell you guys about on this episode. So let's just, dive right in. My birthday was yesterday/today, and, it was nice. I didn't have any plans for it. All of the people special in my life called me. I'm all over the place with my sleep schedule. When I get to the part where I'm talking about the box, that'll all make sense, but I'm like, awake, and I'm not like, oh, I'm up all night, and I'm not awake for a set period of time and then I sleep for a set period of time. I was chatting with my buddy Mika, who gave me, a onesie since the beginning, good friend of mine, one of my best friends in the entire world. And, we were just chit chatting or whatever. I was telling him that like my sleep schedule has devolved into, I just sleep when I'm tired. So if I'm tired, I'll go to bed. And if that means like, I'm up for 6 hours and then I feel tired, I'll go to sleep for an hour or two and then I'll just get back up again. So it's not good. And I'm not like, hey guys, I cracked the code. I found a way to just do whatever you want. Like I don't have to be anywhere for the most part. So I try to have a few hours that I'm awake during the daylight. And if I happen to be up all night working on stuff, it's almost guys in my house with everybody that's sort of coming and going. And we're having guests and things like that for whatever fucked up reason. It's just, I don't want to be, I prefer operating this house when everyone else is out of the way, including right now. It's not my preference. Yesterday was I had a brutal sinus headache all day. And so it was funny. I was just trying to sleep all day. Anyways, all over the map. This is what happens to me, right? I got a bunch of different points to talk about. But it was my birthday yesterday. I was chatting with Meeks. I'm all over the place with my sleep schedule. And it was nice. It was nice getting the love from people. I was starting to get messages early morning. I was up one of the later parts of the evening again. Like I said, right now I'm just kind of sleeping when I'm tired. And that's about it, work. And then if I'm tired, cool, go to bed. Just a lot of times I'm like, I'll just have like an hour or two, that little recharge power nap. This won't last for very long. But right now, while I'm just banging away the work, it's going well. Just when you're awake, you work. When you're tired, go to sleep. That's it. But anyways, I got a lot of, love on Facebook from friends, a lot of text message from friends and family members and things like that. And thank you so much. A lot of you, my listeners reached out and things like that. Love to you guys too. Thank you so much. It was interesting. Okay. So it's funny too, because I've listened to some people refer to like when I'm talking about something, I don't have a problem with saying, Josh, sometimes you complain about shit. Fuck, you bet your ass I do. When people are like, you're whining, I've heard, actually only like 2 people have been like, yeah, sometimes you're just whining about shit. I'm like, I don't know. To me, whining is like, but why me? Like, I don't know. If you think, send me an email, contact@onemanpodcast.com. I don't feel whatever. I'm going to complain about something. I think, or just tell you my take on it. But anyways, I had a lot of people reaching out to me yesterday, phone calls, FaceTime stuff. And, like I said, I had a headache yesterday, bad sinus headache, and I just wanted to sleep. And it was like every time I started to doze off, I would get another call. Now, don't get me wrong. These people don't know I'm trying to sleep. They don't know I have a headache. They're just trying to send love. And I get that. And I'm so grateful for it. And I answered every call and I stayed in the calls. Now, here's the thing. I did have a couple calls with people and a few of them, like, for example, the call I had with Mika, my buddy, that was a great call. I wanted to have that conversation. I wanted to catch up with my buddy, see how he's doing, shoot the shit. So that was a pleasure. And that was earlier in the day when I still had energy and before my headache got bad. And it was great. It was nice catching up with them. The only, the problem is that I had a lot of calls all day long. And as much as it's like, well, people are trying to give you like, I'm not like, oh, I can't believe people. I'm not complaining. I'm not like, oh, why is everyone trying to call? No, it's great. Some people are lonely and it's their birthday and they're sitting staring at a cupcake with a candle in it, tears streaming down their face. Why is no one loving me? I'm like, dude, I'm so glad I'm not in that boat. Hey, and if you happen to be and you listen to this podcast, you reach out to me. All right. Side note, this podcast is getting shitloads of love from all over the world right now. Algeria has downloaded the shit out of this podcast. Hey, Algerian listener or listeners, thank you so much. If you guys want to, send an email, contact@onemanpodcast.com. I would love to hear how you stumbled across this and whatnot. If you're shy and you don't want to say, oh, no worries, just know I'm aware. I'm aware of you, and thank you very much. I love the fact that you're listening. U.S. is exploding in certain areas. Maine is going crazy for the podcast. Newfoundland is throwing lots of love to the podcast, and New Brunswick, thank you so much. Out west, the fuck is going on? No, I'm kidding. Everything's great. Everything's great, guys. Thank you so much. Russia downloads. Finland got some downloads coming in from there. So thank you guys so much. The downloads are picking up in the new year. Hey, 2021 is already getting better. For the One Man Podcast, at least. So, back to my complaining. So a lot of people called me yesterday. Like I said, I'm very happy for the love. I took all the calls. I put on a smile and I plowed through, which you'd think, well, isn't it great that people, yes, it is fantastic. I even had some people do some very nice things for me yesterday, and I will get to that. I just, it's just tough when you're like right now, all I want to do is rest. You know what I mean? I just want to rest. I'm just tired. I have a headache. I just want to sleep. And so rather than like old Josh being like, well, fuck this, I'm not answering the call or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, answer it. Thank you. Thank you. You don't want those calls to stop coming. You don't want to get to a point in your life where it was like, man, person never answers. Like, so thank you for the calls. Truly. I am grateful for them. It's just one of those days where you're like, oh, I just don't want to be on the phone anymore. I just don't want to talk. I just want to go to sleep. I just want to sleep this headache off. And it was very difficult to do yesterday with all the phone calls and messages and stuff like that. And believe it or not, I actually had a couple of errands I had to do, some for the box and some for just other shit. So I think that's like the second time in the entire week I left the house. But anyways, I digress. So this is something I want to share with you guys. I'm the kind of person, at least I've developed into the kind of person where, like, if it's your birthday or whatever, I'll send a text or I'll send a message. But it's like the same, like my two best friends, when they had their kids, I didn't like they were great. And they sent, I hope, mass text messages saying like, hey, introducing so-and-so and showing the baby. I was like, that's great. I appreciate that they're sharing with me. I don't call or start messaging or anything like that. I actually kind of give it some time, maybe too much time. But the thing is, like, and a lot of my friends have like big families and stuff like that. And the thing is, I know personally that as soon as that stuff happens, first off, you're going to be exhausted. I can't imagine what that experience is like. And then having to tell everybody and then the info, everybody wants to call and talk to you and congratulate. It's, to me, I'm like, you must be exhausted. This can wait. Say, you sent me a message. I'll respond. Hey, congratulations. We'll chat soon. But like the amount of people, and I've just heard stories from people where it's like, the family's now coming over all the time and this and that. And it's like, you're fucking wiped. Man, wiped. So I can't imagine what all these people wanting to come over and call you and talk to you, where you're like, I have fucking 5 minutes to myself. And I just like to sit in a chair and stare at the wall and go, what the fuck is going on with my life? Like whatever your escape is. But you don't get a lot of those breaks. And here's the thing. You might not have had a break at the time and you gave someone that 10 minutes. Well, it's going to come from somewhere. Just like a comedy show, when some comic goes long, well, that time's going to come from somewhere. That's time that's coming after the headliner or whatever it is. You know what I mean? The show doesn't just go long because of it. If it's any kind of an organized club, you don't just, the show will be 2.5 hours long. You know how exhausted the audience will be after sitting through a director's cut edition of Lord of the Rings. You're like, I think there was a lot of scenes that we could have cut out of there. Could have got ourselves home and in bed a lot sooner. But I'm just saying that, like, when someone talks to you on the phone for 15 minutes, if you're jammed with parental life, like, you're either not able to give that person your attention, in which case, like, well, what's the fucking point of wasting their time, both of your times, if you guys aren't even really communicating. And on top of that, you know what I mean? Like, at that, now I got to adjust something else. Something else is going to have to go. I was going to sit and, do this little thing or whatever it is. And I spent half an hour on the phone with you. So that's off the table. So for me, it's just like, I think I've developed enough of a relationship with the people who I'm close to for them to know that, like, I'm not like, I don't give a shit. It's the golden rule, right? Treat other people the way you want to be treated. Like, hey, I'm letting you know this thing happened. I want you to know. I'm not keeping you dark. Not like, oh, fuck, by the way, we had our kid like 6 months ago. Like, oh, no. It's, hey, introducing such and such. Here's the mass text message. Here's the picture. Everyone knows. But, like, where's the empathy of like we just went through a big thing and we got 24 hours, 48 hours to just fucking rest, suck into our little bubble and just fucking regroup. And then we'll weather the storm of everyone's phone calls. You know what I mean? I might even wait too long sometimes, because I'm just kind of like, the thing will happen and I'm like, I'm going to give them space. I know they're going to have family. I know they're going to have friends. I know they're going to have all these fucking phone calls and stuff like that to go through. And I'm just like, I'll just take a knee. They're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be there, and then we can talk about it. And then when you're not exhausted, then I can ask you about the experience and you can tell me the story, maybe a drink in your hand, whatever, and just shoot the shit with me and tell me, how it is, or a cup of coffee, whatever it is. I know, like, they say what, beer or a glass of wine or something like that's good when you're nursing. I could be wrong. Fuck. But I know that I think beer is good for like milk production or something. Anyways, the fuck do I know? I got tits, but I don't know how to use them, what I'm saying is, I personally would value like some space after an event like that. And like I said, you're going to have those people who just, oh my God, and they're not going to give you space. They're not. But the people like me who are aware that, hey, that was a thing, just take a knee for a little bit. Just relax. That stuff can wait. Condolences are a little different. Obviously, like for me, I'll reach out to my friends and be like, look, we don't have to talk about it. Just letting you know, if you want to, totally here, totally up for it, but I'm not going to press. You do you, whatever you need. And that's it. Where some people like want to get in your face. I don't know. It's that one's a little bit tougher, but I'm just saying for like the life event stuff or whatever, I think that sometimes a lot of people, especially like the people that I'm close with, big families and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want it to be like a pile on. So for me, I'm like, all right, just I'll give it some time, and then we can talk about it. Then I can visit with the kids. You're not exhausted, or visit with you, whatever's going on. You know what I mean? So it's not just like, oh, we have to host. Like, I don't know. That shit's exhausting to me. The constantly having to answer messages, whatever. So it's a roundabout way of saying, like, I'm still grateful for everyone who reached out on my birthday. I love that. It's almost like I wish I could spread them out. You know what I mean? The people calling and giving love and all sorts of kindness. It's like, that's amazing. And I am very grateful for it. Just like I said, for me, it was like, oh, my sleep schedule is already fucked. My head's killing me. And it was just like a storm of like one after another, you know, messages or whatever. So it's just like, it's like when people say how, you know, how come everyone's nice at Christmas time? Like, wouldn't it be great if we could just spread that out through the entire year and people were just always nice to each other? You know, it's kind of like that. It's like, hey, I love getting a day where it's just love, 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 love coming at me. But, you know, there's times where I wish I could spread it out too, you know, and have a fucking nap. So if that was me whining, I apologize. Why is everybody calling me? That's whining, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But anyways, yeah, complaining. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but again, I'm still saying I appreciate it. I do. I just, fuck, like, maybe it was just the headache talking. I still get a little bit of it lingering despite how much I tried to sleep. But aside from that, so that's me getting the, you know, hey, you want the good news or the bad news first? That was just the kind of the slight downside of it. And again, if I had been well rested, right, that's maybe me going back to this wacky sleep schedule I have. If I'd been well rested, then, you know, and didn't have a fucking headache, then, you know, hey, you know what? Got it. I just have a shitload of stuff on my list to do. That's all it is. I'm just overworked. All right. You guys go ahead and give me a call. You can call me anytime you like. In fact, it's how funny is that? Like every week I'm like, hey guys, send me an email. Nothing. Hey, it's my birthday. Oh my God. I don't know how many of them I have left, by the way. 38 now. 38 years old. Still feel like a kid. You know what I mean? I guess the law sees me as an adult, but I tell you, I am still just a child at heart. My buddy Joey Elias, who for a long time we've been trying to schedule a podcast interview, but he was like the first headliner who like took me under his wing, and he's still very good to me. I love that guy. I fucking love that guy. What a great human being. And like a humanitarian, he loves his community. He's so good to everybody. I fucking love Joey Elias. But Joey Elias said to me one time, he's like, you know, I think I've come to terms with the fact that I'm going to get older, but I'm never going to grow up. And I'm like, I love that. And I think that's me. Like there's certain maturity level, as much as I've tried to run from it, there's still a certain maturity level that I guess I have just from getting older. I've talked about these marketing gigs that I was doing where you're watching these young pups just being like unprofessional. And I'm like, I think of myself as like pretty unprofessional in the sense that like I fucking cracking jokes, like the professional corporate, persona, identity, you know, demeanor. I do not identify as that. I like my people that I'm working with the box. Like when things get too professional, I'll let them know, hey guys, relax. All right. We can do business and we can crack jokes and what, like, that's the thing. Like all of my people, it's so funny. I slowly but surely convert them into my way of doing things, which is like my last guy, Matt Barnes, whom I love. And I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but, Matt used to be my guy at this company that I'm dealing with the box. And I fucking love Matt. Matt's, not my business to share, but Matt's not there anymore. The fucking poor guy's gone through some of the worst shit that you could think of. But, so yeah, he's not there anymore, but, great fucking dude. But Matt, very professional, but, once we started working together, you know, it would be things like just out of the like we'd be messaging about a thing or whatever. And I just fire him a text like, hey, can you give me a hand with something? And it would be one monkey jerking off another monkey in a picture, just sending a picture of that. Give me a hand. So it got to the point where like, we would just, you know, he would send me a fucking completely unprofessional picture, but it was fun. And we got business done. We, you know, everything was cool and relaxed. We were able to communicate better because there was like, when you have to like talk like a professional, like, well, we'll certainly look into that discrepancy and see if we can collaborate to come up with some sort of a solution to the issue, so we don't have to escalate that. Fuck off. All right. Don't like, it's not that I don't understand the vocab. All right. The vernacular of all these different things. I want to talk to a human being. I want to relate. That's my job as a comic. And I'm just like the whole sterile computer form of communication. And it's so sterile and diluted that, there's so many different ways that things can be interpreted. I like to communicate, right? I'm communicating with you guys right now via this podcast. I communicate my stand-up. And when I'm having regular day-to-day interactions, I like to communicate. I like to do my best to make sure that my message is understood concisely, not open to interpretation based on the form of communication that the expressed has put forward for evaluation and reconciliation with these things. I will definitely by EOD send you a email regarding the topics of which we discuss. Oh, boring! I don't want to work with you. Boring. I even tell servers in restaurants that. I go, hey, just for the record, if you're having a shit shift and you want to come over and be like, ugh, fucking shift, fucking people. I go, I'm the table that you can do that with. Just come over, be yourself. Hey, man, as long as you still take my order, as long as you still bring my food, I don't give a fuck. Be a person. I would much rather, oh my God, I'm sorry. I would much rather, and then talk about the thing I don't like. I would much rather that than someone comes up, hey, oh my God, how's it going, love? How are you? Oh my God, sweeties, how you guys doing? Oh my God, sir, absolutely. You guys are the best. Oh my God, sweetie. I really don't like disingenuous. I would rather be a sincere hypocrite than a disingenuous. I don't know. I think everyone's a hypocrite to an extent, but. Ooh, and I'm drinking a nice little Amaretti coffee, trying to wake my ass up. Get on with my day. Sun. Fucking January. There's no sun. The light of day has not started to peek over the horizon just yet. But, yeah, birthday love. I don't even know how I got started. I don't even know how I got started on the subject of my people that I'm dealing with or whatever. But I dig having fun. I dig having fun with everybody. So, all right. Yeah, I'm trying so hard to figure out what the fuck I was talking about that got me down that road. But, yeah, thanks for the birthday love, everybody. Definitely appreciate it. Maybe when I get better sleep and stuff, I'll be able to think better. Wanted to say a big thank you to my friend Isabel. She's a listener of the podcast, and she just reached out and she was like, hey, is it I think she just messaged me. She's like, is it really your birthday today? So I guess she must have seen stuff on Facebook or something. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, oh, well, what kind of treat can I make you and deliver? And I was like, oh, that's super sweet. And I didn't want to impose on anyone. So I was just like, well, I don't know what's easy. I don't bake or anything like that. So I don't know what's easier than something else. Maybe something that looks easy is hard and something that looks hard is easy. And she's like, why don't you just give it a shot and we'll see what you get. I was like, okay. I was like something simple. I was like, I would like oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. That's what I asked for. And she's like, done deal. I was like, all right, amazing. Thank you so much. So she went to the store, got the stuff, baked me cookies, and delivered them. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I had one after dinner last night. Delicious. And she's like, well, this is definitely like a first attempt, whatever. So I guess she'd never made them before. But she's like, well, this is definitely a first attempt. I was like, they're incredible. Incredible. So sweet. She wrapped them up in a gift bag, tissue paper, everything like that. Absolutely sweet. Absolutely sweet. So kind. So kind. My other pal, Britt, was like, oh my God, it's your birthday. I'm making you that Reese's cake that you wanted. Da, da, da. I was like, oh, really? So she's like, yeah. And she fucking makes bomb ass baking as well. So, I'm super excited. She's bringing that over on Sunday. I'm going to have a Reese's cake. I'm super psyched. I'm not a big sweets guy, but baking, when people bake, it's so good. I don't know. Store-bought shit's just dry and crunch. I guess I like the soft bakery stuff better than walk into Walmart, they get those $5 fucking cakes at the front that look good. And then you eat them. You're like, this is the driest of sponge. It's not the slightest bit moist. I know ladies don't like the word moist, but I like my cake when it's moist. Does it upset you ladies when we're referring to baked goods? Because you guys like to bake. And it's nice when your baking is moist. I like moist cake. Just pushing buttons is fun for me. I think it was the growing up thing about Joey Elias. Was that what got me to the thing? It's just growing up. I still I can't let it go. I'm neurotic as hell. It's like, why was I talking about being unprofessional? I think that's what it is. I'm never going to grow up. I'm still going to be a kid and send stupid pictures of monkeys jerking each other off to professional colleagues. Anyways, doop doop a doop up beep up a doo. Jason and Simon bought me dinner last night. Yeah, they again, one of my attempts at sleeping yesterday. Simon like knocked on the door and he was like, hey, we're going to buy you dinner tonight. Happy birthday. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I was like, yeah, we're going to get you dinner tonight. So whatever you want we'll order in. And Jason's so much like a girlfriend like that. So by the time I went over to see if, what do you guys want? He's like, so what do you want for your birthday? And it's birthday, anything you want? I go, well, you know what? I haven't had pizza in a long time. I love pizza. I would love it. I just had fucking pizza 2 nights ago. What else? What do you want? Something different? And then he's like, and I go, well, how about, I made another suggestion. He's like, I don't want that. That's what he says. I don't want that. Fuck, that's the girl. So he goes, what about and then he starts suggesting, I go, well, what do you, he goes, well, how about, we go to Lone Star, we get some, or not go to, but order in from Lone Star and get some fajitas. I was like, I don't like fajitas. I don't mind them, but there's so much fajitas. The big things are onions and peppers, which are not my thing. So I was like, let's just other than that, I'm just gonna have meat wrapped in tortilla, which is not super exciting. So I think we settled on Chinese eventually, and that was delicious. And we ordered it in, had a nice big meal courtesy of Simon and Jason. Thank you so much. I'm very, very, very grateful for that. And then my ass went to bed. Went to bed. I was like, okay, that's it. I think it was 9 p.m. Tried all day to sleep, couldn't. So finally 9 p.m. went to bed. And then here I am, awake, rambling about all the different things that I got, did yesterday. But thank you everyone for the birthday love. I appreciate. I cross off on my list here to make sure I don't talk again about these things that are not super important. Yeah, I don't know. I did have a nice day. It was nice. I went out to, trying to decide, I got 2 little short things here that I'm just going to yak about for a second. I want to say thank you to, Kia Mazar, George Asali, and Abdullah Usman, my 3 buddies, comedians. We tried to play, Halo 3. So we were doing a live stream or whatever of us playing Halo 3. Fuck, it sucked. I think I told you guys in the last episode that I tried playing the 2 previous Halo games. Such garbage. Such fucking garbage. And then Halo 3, garbage. Fucking hot garbage. Stupid, hot, wet, stinky garbage. But it was funny because we were trying to, and it's not whining, complaining, not whining. But we tried to play. I think we sat in a Zoom lobby for 45 minutes while Kia was trying to set some things up for the live stream or whatever. And then when we finally were ready to go, one of the guys was trying to play on PC and not the Xbox, and so that didn't work. So we lost him, and then the 3 of us played for a tiny bit, but the game was such ass that. And we were so delayed in the start time that one of the guys had an obligation elsewhere. So it was just kind of oh, okay. And then there was complete radio silence since then. That we haven't played anything since. So, I got to reach out to those guys and go, hey, we can still do this. This can still happen. We just have to play a game that's not complete ass. And I think Kia was the one who was thinking hey, we'll do Halo 3, but he had already played it, and myself and Abdullah did not love it. So we moved on to something else. Anyways, I look forward to being able to hang with those guys again, virtually and play some games. Good thing they haven't asked too though, because my calendar has been full of just this fulfillment stuff. And I'll talk about that again in a teeny bit. My buddy Matt in Halifax, he's actually in Dartmouth. It's Dartmouth, but Dartmouth is how they say it out there. Matt's out there, and Matt and I were talking about some, promo and marketing stuff or whatever. And actually just reminding myself of that. I want to shout out to my friend Alex, my buddy Jimmy's wife. She's got a great little, small business where she's doing bacon and stuff. And Alex is going to, make me up some cookies and stuff. I think butterscotch chips and white chocolate and cookies are coming my way in the next little bit. So I'm excited for that. It'll just be a week of baking where, of course, I'll share and give stuff away. I can't eat all that shit. I've been giving away all the stuff I got at Christmas. But a lot of people, hey, bacon, your birthday. I'm like, hey, let's do it. So, Matt and I were talking about, some promo and stuff like that. He's got a small business that he's getting started out there. And we were just chatting about this and that. And I got into the same argument that I've got into a few times before with people who are fans of EDM, electronic dance music, or whatever they want to call it. I remember my buddy Jad, who I've worked with several times. We were driving back from some gig in Hamilton. I was just saying how I'm not impressed by, what is it? Like, what do they call themselves? Sound designers? Like these guys like Deadmau5 or whatever. Like some of the music's fine. I can enjoy it, but I don't like, you know, song after song after song, hour after hour, just, you know, this crazy dance music or whatever. I personally, when I'm listening to music, I would, if I had a choice, I would rather, and it's funny because when you're young, you don't really care, but like I would rather go to a symphony and listen to, you know, however many piece bands playing together in harmony, where there's a human element where you can make a mistake and it's, you know, and it's heard, whatever. So the idea that like all these people are playing a real instrument live together in sync, that sounds really, really nice to me. I would rather listen to that than EDM. I'm not saying there isn't any EDM that I haven't enjoyed, but overall, I would rather listen to something like that than, you know, EDM. I would rather listen to that than, like a live rock band. Just, I find that when bands are playing live, there's like distortion and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's very, very hard to hear like the individual instruments. So obviously, like, you know, the studio stuff, if you fuck up, you can go again. I get that. It's not like it's a one shot deal, but that's why something like, you know, the symphony or an orchestra or even just a live jazz band or piano bar where you can actually hear every note played or whatever. I like that more. To me, it's like, you know, you get one shot at it, you know, and, no room for error, or if there's an error you can recover, but it's just, but it's there. It takes, to me, I'm more impressed. That's all I said. That's all my argument has ever been. I'm more impressed by real, you know, musicians playing music on an instrument than I am for someone who's designing the sound, you know, and Matt's argument at times is like, well, I can make a mistake. Like when I'm making EDM, like I can make something that doesn't sound good. I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's easy to make EDM. What I'm saying is that if you tell the computer to play this note at this time, it's going to do it. It's not going to fuck it up. It's not going to go, oops, I was nervous and I hit the wrong string or whatever. Like that's all I'm saying. And it's one person designing it. Like he goes, well, it's an art. I go, again, not the argument I made. I wasn't saying it's not art. I'm just saying, to me, I'm not as impressed with it. So it was so funny because obviously that's his thing. Matt's a DJ and he's created songs. And he started to go into that whole EDM thing where he's like, you know, I'm taking, like, here's the thing, like it's such an art. It is hard. Like, you know, when you come to the bar or whatever, like I'm not just playing music. Like I'm taking you on a journey, and I'm like my eyes could tear out of the sockets with how hard they roll at something like that. You know, I'm taking you on a journey. Are you? Should I bring a jacket for this journey that I'm going on? How many pacifiers and glow sticks will I need for this journey? You know, I mean, I get that other artists too will say, like, you know, musicians of, oh, we're going to take you on a journey. And maybe you are, but I just think it's so funny that, you know, my argument is about the talent of playing an instrument versus designing something on a computer. You know what I mean? I can go on Photoshop and I can cut little images out of other things and put them together and make a collage or make something that looks nice. And it's things taken from other things, but it's a lot harder to take a pen and, you know, paper and to draw that myself and to create it, you know, out of nothing, as opposed to taking what already exists. When you're using software, that's all I'm saying. But everyone always argues, oh, it's art. It's art. At no point did I say that it doesn't take talent or that it's not artistic. What I said was my preference and what impresses me. And to me, the idea that you can do something where you can make a mistake. It's not like you just hit play on the computer and go, here's what I designed. Doesn't it sound good? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But I would rather see 80 people in unison, in sync, playing instruments where you can fail, and the pressure of it being live and everything like that. To me, it sounds nicer. You know, I don't feel like I have to take ecstasy before I listen to it to make it good. You know, it reminds me of a Doug Stanhope joke, where he was saying, like, you know, whenever people are like, oh man, it's a shame you need alcohol to have a good time. I think it's just sad when you need alcohol to have a good time. And he's like, all right, but the difference is if I don't have alcohol, then you actually need to have a good time to have a good time. He's like, you know how many times like there's nothing been going on, I could just drink alcohol and enjoy myself? Sober, it's like it actually has to be a fun, exciting event. It is way easier to make a boring thing exciting with alcohol, you know? And that's what EDM is to me. It's like, oh, here, take this pill and let's lay on the floor of this dirty public washroom, running our nails up and down each other's backs, listening to this music that's taking us on a journey where the end of the road is syphilis. I don't know. Fuck. I just thought it was so fun. As soon as he said, I'm taking you on a journey, I grabbed my clipboard with the podcast notes and just wrote that down. It's like, sure. But I mean, you could take, I mean, if that journey is because of ecstasy or MDMA or whatever the fuck it is, you know, like you could take, I think it's the pill that's taking you on the journey, not so much your music. Anyways, I love you, Matt. He listens. It was so funny. And that's his thing, right? Like it's, you know, when someone comes at, you know, I don't know. I know that there's talented DJs again, but that wasn't the argument. The argument wasn't that there's no talent. The argument was not that it's not art. It's just not as impressive to me as actually being able to do it. I think the argument that I made with him that pissed him off, which was funny, was I said that like sometimes when you're buying a house from a property piece, you can pick and choose some of the elements that go into it. You know what I mean? Like where do you want the bedrooms located or the layouts, or here, there's these different styles. And if, we could have this part moved over here. And if you could add this element to that, it's like, just because you're taking something and organizing it, you don't turn around and go, I'm a carpenter. You know, I built a house. No, you didn't. You took things that already exist, you moved them around, and then you quote unquote made a house. Sure, it takes a little bit of talent, maybe an eye for detail, but you're not a carpenter. You didn't build a house. And to me, that's the difference between these DJs and real musicians. You know, his argument was like, oh, well, you know, a musician still has to pick up a guitar. Like, is he not talented because the guitar is making the music? And I go, and that's when I use the carpenter example. I go, just because the carpenter's using a hammer doesn't mean that the hammer's doing all the work. He still has to know how to use that tool, right? Just because you picked where the rooms go doesn't mean you're a carpenter. So the carpenters actually know how to build a house, and the EDM guys just know, oh, I want that note here with this instrument. Can you play an instrument? No, man, the computer's my instrument. More compute. I think Nick Carter said that one time. My buddy Nick Carter. I had a song. I think this EDM song came on through my iPod one time years ago. And he just yells in the middle. He's like, "This song needs more computers, more computers," and that's basically how I feel about EDM. So pop your ecstasy, put that pacifier in your mouth, fuck a stranger, and enjoy your journey. That was it's so fucking funny. I'm going to start saying that. My comedy, I'm taking you on a journey through shit and dick jokes, toilet humor, and the odd political, satirical, topical observation. All right, moving on. Maybe it's early morning. That's the thing, right? My commitment was to do all these podcasts, record them early in the day. Maybe this is too early. I'll have to find the sweet spot where I'm not just being a bastard because it's the middle of the fucking night. I don't know. I'm having fun. So what have we learned? Don't call me on my birthday. don't glorify EDM to me, or make a better argument. You know, hey, you're allowed to like things. You're allowed to like things. Just don't tell, like, it's like, you know what? I really like Crystal Light. You know, if you take these things, you squirt them into your water. I just find it tastes better. It's like it's aspartame and chemicals. The water's better for you. No, see, it's taking you on a journey when you squirt this stuff in your water, and you're like, oh, I was expecting pink water, but this has a little bit of cranberry grapefruit taste to it. It's a magical journey. It's a journey to early grave is what it is, with the aspartame shellacking your brain's membranes. Hey, so let's talk about the box stuff. All right, I got two more topics, guys. The stuff I watched and the box stuff. Okay, now I'm getting excited. Ooh, got a little finger crack. I hope Auphonic doesn't clear that out. I'm having a blast putting together these boxes, and every time I bring home a new item from Decwin, everybody in the house, everyone I show it to is like, oh my God, that looks fucking amazing. So I've shared some of the proofs with you guys via Instagram, and some of you who I'm close with have messaged them to you on Facebook or text or whatever. And everyone's like, oh, that looks really cool. And then the item comes and I show the pictures of the real thing, and everyone's like, holy fuck, that looks even better. I'm like, holy fuck, I know, right? Let me start by saying that there are still a few boxes available. So even more of them sold. once I started showing some of these items, someone's like, oh, I'll take one of those. I'll take one of those. A lot of people like, some people are just like, I just want that item and that item and that item. So it's like the point where like everything I show them, even though I've got like 3 things at the moment, one of which is the whiskey glasses, and I'll talk about them. I had an issue with them, but I'll talk about them shortly. Even though the whiskey glasses are not included in the order, the only things I've actually like grabbed so far that are in the box are the coffee mugs, which are outstanding. I'm drinking from one right now, and the notebooks, the journals. Oh my God, both look incredible. I'm so happy with them. So happy with them. These mugs are incroyable. If you want to see what they look like, fire me a message. The charm of the show, me and my slurping sounds. The coffee I'm drinking is not my favorite right now. It's an Amaretti from Nespresso. It was one of their Christmas ones that I just never opened. And it's got a little bit of an amaretto taste to it, but I don't know. I think that would probably be better with like maybe a lot of milk or, anyways, who cares? Who cares? So I received a message, I believe it was Wednesday, that the mugs were in. And I picked up the mugs Wednesday, and then Friday, the journals and the whiskey glasses were in. So I have since packaged. So all the boxes came. The boxes, I believe, came Wednesday. So the collector's boxes came. I went out and I got the personalized. So I designed on Photoshop the personalized inserts for them. So when you open the box lid, your name, your box number is in there. I got the black and orange packing papers and everything like that for everything. And I got these like little square gift boxes. So for all the mugs, because there was, again, some of them had quantities beyond 25. I got these nice little 4x4x4 black gift boxes. I have the stickers that I made a while back. I actually was trimming them and then using them to label the boxes. So they look fucking fantastic. And then I got clear labels off of Amazon. So basically, like I said, I've turned my bedroom into a fulfillment center. So for the longest time, I was just, I was building the boxes, right? Because they all come flat. So I was folding the boxes together, the 25 boxes for everybody. Went to my printers. He's great. He got me everything right away. He's like, you want to wait? I was like, sure. So got me the labels for all the boxes. There's still some obviously available. So when those come, I'll get them. But all of the orders I had currently, I got the labels done, started setting those up. Packed the boxes with the items that I already have. So the notebooks and the mugs all in the boxes. Then all the extra ones, I was folding. Basically what I had to do was create like a production line. So I had 50 some odd boxes. And what I had to do first was trim the stickers. So use my slicer to trim the stickers to get the part of the label that I wanted. Then I'd put them on all of the boxes. So there's 3 different stickers that go on the box. One of them, One Man Podcast cover. And then the, where to get them on the sides kind of things. They look great. I'll post a picture on Instagram. So I had to sticker the boxes, way easier to do while they were still flat. Then I would fold them together. Then sticker, like the round label sticker on the bottom to keep the box, those little clear plastic stickers, you get them on DVDs or whatever, that just sort of like seal them shut. So sealed them with those on the bottom, then take the mugs, wrap them in orange and black paper in the box, foldy, seal on the top. Bob's your uncle. Now, all of that sounds like it maybe just takes a couple minutes, but like with all the trimming, right? Production trimming, you're 15, 20 minutes trimming all the stickers, then another, half an hour to 45 minutes putting all the stickers on all of the boxes, then folding all of the boxes together, doing it right, labeling. It took a long time, and wrapping mugs and everything like that, wiping them down, checking them for flaws or anything like that. So all of the mugs are in the boxes. All of the extra boxes are made, folded, labeled, packaged. They look great. Very, 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 very happy with them. The journals, stickers on the inside cover of the journals, things pulled out, wrapped, sealed. They look good. They look really, really good, guys. I'm very, very happy with how everything is coming together and looking. Like I said, more people are seeing this and going like, oh shit, I need to pick one of these up. I was like, yeah, you do. Gosh darn it. And there are still some available. So if this is the first time you're hearing of this, contact at onemanpodcast.com. Get your order in. Just finalized the hats and the t-shirts. So there's nothing else. The only thing that we're having issues with was the water bottle. The design that we picked looked like complete shit when they sent us a sample bottle. So we're just going to retool that, change the logo on it, and Bob's your uncle, make it nice and easy. But I've actually held the water bottles in my hands now, not just ordered them into the catalogs, and they're quality, just like I expected. Nice quality water bottle. Can't wait to get them in your guys' hands. Super excited. More stuff should come in. One small update. Here's one thing too, just before I'm going to cross off some of the stuff I talked about, is the whiskey glasses are, sorry, not the whiskey glasses. The journals are super cool. The pens that came with them, I expected to be complete shit. They're not. The journal, nice, like soft hardcover, oxymoron there. It's like this nice sort of like leather, sort of, it's not leather, but it kind of feels a little leather, like hardcover to it. It feels really nice. There's the strap on it, right? The elastic strap that holds it shut. I love that it's got a pen holder on the side, and the pens that they come with are actually pretty nice. You can use your own, and that's definitely what I'll do. I'm a bit of a picky, you, Josh? Yeah, I'm a bit picky when it comes to my pens and what stuff I use, but, I'm definitely happy with them. And then they have a pocket in the back cover, like a lot of the stuff that you buy. So, I remember I had one similar to that when I was driving Uber some time ago, where I would just write my kilometers down in the book, right? And same, actually, when I was working for Domino's, even before that, I was using these types of books because you would have to, I would have to track everything for tax purposes. So like I would have to write my tips down after every delivery, just so that I could claim my tips. And then, of course, I was also bringing back sometimes cash and receipts. So I was doing debit and credit, whatever. So that back folder was perfect, so that my whole shift, I would just stuff all my receipts in that little envelope in the back of the book and then seal it up again, right? Writing my tips and everything down. So it was a really just one-stop shop for all of my organization over the course of a shift. And then when I was doing Uber, I'd put gas receipts in the back pocket and write down my starting and finishing kilometers. It's great. And these journals are no different. They're fucking awesome. Spot for a pen, because that's the thing too. That was one thing my books never had, was a little strap for a pen. So constantly losing that. And of course, it's got the little ribbon in it too. Oh, they're just, guys, they're so nice. So nice. In fact, when I brought home the journals, Simon and Kamar saw them. They're like, "This is fucking great." Both of them bought one on the spot. Okay, no, I'll take one. Done. $10, done. So, and Simon bought a whiskey glass too. So he's like, "These are fucking incredible." I was like, "Yeah, they're pretty nice." So, yeah, done dealio. The whiskey glasses had a bit of an issue with them. So when I got them, there was a few of them, well, like 40% of them that had, flaws on the logo, which I found a bit of a workaround for to fix them up. Some of them were just irreparable. So that's one of the things I did, on my birthday was, I drove to Daquin to bring back the glasses that were no good. I found that, so these ones are laser etched. All right. They're little sort of Glencairn style whiskey tasters. It's like halfway between a Glencairn and a shot glass. But the laser, I opted to go with laser etching on them because I didn't want these things to look shitty when I do a whiskey tasting or something like that. Like I want it to look nice. So I think I mentioned this before, that if we did a paint, like a silk screen paint job on them, it would look okay. And there's a color of paint that they have that looks kind of like an etching. It's like almost like a ghost sort of like paint where it just sort of goes over top, but it looks kind of like etching. I opted not to go with that only because it wouldn't be dishwasher safe. So if you want to throw it in the dishwasher, eventually that paint would start to come off and it would look shitty. So I opted to go with the $5 more per glass cost of laser etching. So it actually etched into the glass and lasered on so that, it's actually carved into the glass so you can throw it in the dishwasher. You can't wash off a carving. Like that's just how it is. So I'm like, and that'll look better. It'll look more professional. And these are for, nice events and whiskey tastings that I'm doing. So I would be very, very happy to do that. So they end up costing about $14 or something like that, all said and done. Well, when I got them, the etchings on some of them kind of looked like there was little parts that were like scratched up or whatever. I've since discovered that if I take something abrasive like a blade of a knife or something and I scratch it, I can actually make them all uniform. But the other issue was that some of the glasses that they used seemed to be really, really bad quality. And what I mean is like bad, like the glass itself was crafted poorly. So some of them would have like, I had this issue with Dak when trying to describe to them what it looked like, because it's kind of like, what am I trying to describe? Well, like some of them, the glass was just either whatever was fabricating the glass was blowing it improperly, where you'd have like chunks of dirt or rock in the actual glass, abrasions around the rim of the glass was like scratching and stuff. So if you put your lip on it, you could cut yourself. Some of them were just warped where the rim was like melted or something like that, where you'd have like these big chunks of glass just sort of sticking up off the edge. And I was like, who would see this and then package it for a client? If these were like $2-3 each, I wouldn't have said anything. I'd been like, all right, sometimes you get something, you get what you pay for. These are $15 each, so they've got to be better. They've got to be better. Sorry. They got to be better. So, yeah, I scratched the abrasions on the ones that just had an issue with the logo. I actually fixed them and made them look good myself, which shouldn't have to do. When you're paying for it, it should come done. So I went with them today and I took all these little green stickers on the glasses themselves because every one of them had something kind of different wrong with it. So I took the green stickers to mark on the glass like what my actual issue with the glasses were. So that's a thing I did. Did that, and they're gonna basically send it back to them, and the company said that they'll redo the ones that they got wrong. But I'm just kind of like, well, that's great, but can we make a different person check them before they send them back? So whining, complaining, well, it's just what it is. But I'm letting you guys know. So again, I have worked with people in marketing, in sales, in production, whatever, where they would get something like that in and it doesn't look good and they go, whatever. And they would just sell it to you anyways. That's your hard-earned money. Something you work, $15 is fucking an hour's worth of work. So to make you guys, work hard and then, fuck it. You look at it and you go, fuck it. And you just pass it along. That's not how I vibe, man. That's not my way of doing things. All right. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is again, when you pick up something from me, it's going to be tip top. All right. Homie, don't play that. I got 2 journals in the entire run. All right. 2 in the entire run that had like a slight flaw. One of them, I guess the cover had a hole in it. So when they put the paint of the logo on the front, it sort of sucked it in and it kind of looks a little funny. I took that one out. That's one of the ones I'll use. So I'll keep that for myself. But that was it. There's only 2 issues. And one of the mugs, funny enough, was missing the little dude logo, the little orange dude from One Man Podcast. Funny enough, because they do it in colors, right? They paint them in colors. So they hit it with the white and then they hit it with the orange or vice versa, whatever order they do it in. But I've got one mug where I guess it was the end of the weekend. And these were all done basically right around Christmas time or during the Christmas vacation. So one of them was joking at Dak when they're like, oh, I wonder if these were disgruntled employees who were working through the holidays. But basically, and then the whiskey glasses and the mugs came from the same company. But the mugs look great. Shy of the one that's missing the orange. So you got a white One Man Podcast logo with an orange cup. So I guess that could work. If I was being cheap and I was like, well, the orange is the thing, and then we just do one man, right? One less color. So I've actually got a friend I showed that to, and she's like, I want a box and I want that misprint cup. And I was like, really? She's like, oh yeah, I love fucked up shit. I was like, great. So that person is happier at the mistake, and she will have the only misprinted One Man Podcast mug. So hey, everybody wins. But I'm having so much fun putting this stuff together. When I'm done this podcast, I'm going to go down and make one of my meal kits. And then I'm coming back up to fold. I bought all these, I bought these white glasses. Cause again, the whiskey glasses are more for my tastings that I do. And maybe, after a show here and there, I'm going to be drinking, out of my glass on stage if the world ever goes back to normal. And I think for after the show. So it's just the presentation. So again, these mugs are like $15. I remember talking to Mika and I was like, yeah, they're like 50, they're 12 something. So just 15 is a round number to sell them individually. So the reason, like you could say, well, why did you go into the trouble of buying, mug boxes and labeling them and sealing them and wrapping them and because if I'm charging $15 for something, I can just hand you a mug that's wrapped in a little plastic that came out of a case. There's no wow factor to that. There's no, $15 to just hand you a mug. There's nothing to that. But something that's wrapped, that's got a seal on it that you get to break, you open it up, it's got fucking orange and black. Like it just, there's a little sizzle to it. You know what I mean? The presentational, the marketing value of that. It just, you feel like you got something more for your money than me just handing you a mug. It's the same with the whiskey glass. I'm not going to just reach into a box and hand you a glass. It's coming in a box, coming wrapped. It's got some logoing on it, on the front. It's going to look like you got something for your money. All right. I'm not trying to oversell this box. I'm letting you guys know how excited I am for it. And everyone around me has been like, dude, your energy on this box is infectious. I'm like, okay, well, that's great. I'm just excited for it. You know what? I'll put it up. I'll be as transparent. I'm very proud of what I've put together here. This is the most expensive thing that I've ever just done, to put out there. But, I'm super excited. The hats and the t-shirt proofs came in the morning of my birthday. I'm like the two biggest priced items in the box and the two probably best items in the box. I finally got the proofs in this morning of like the stitching and the logoing. They look fucking incredible. Absolutely incredible. I can't wait for these to come in. I can't wait. The hats, I'm losing my shit. How fucking excited. I can't wait to show you guys how cool these things look. So, anyways, I'm loving life. I'm having a good time. Yeah, we'll get these guys. The last point about the box is the phone stands. So one of the number one things that everyone's been like, I've actually had a few people be like, dude, like just chatting with them on FaceTime or whatever this week, and the amount of times that their phone's falling over. I have a phone stand as well, but it's like a little, I've said this before, it's like a little compass phone stand where you have to like pull it apart and open it up and flip things down or whatever. And it's just a pain in the ass to have to fetch. And now I've actually got it blocked off behind all the boxes. So it'd be a real pain in the ass to have to get. But, yeah, just people I'm talking to, their phone's falling down. They're trying to find somewhere to stand it up. They're like, I want the stand. And they've actually ordered, some of them have been like, I need to order, maybe 2 or 3 of them just because I want one on this desk. I want one at my desk at work. I think I'm going to have one in the living room. I'm like, yeah, great. And they're cheap as hell. So like not quality, but I just got a message today, after I visited them that the supplier is actually, I increased my order from 150 of them to 200 just based on how popular they were. But then they called me, or they emailed me and said, hey, apparently the supplier says that they're not going to get a restock on them until late February. And it was my understanding that they had a set amount of them set aside for us. But when I increased my order, I said, if I increase the order, I don't want it to affect, the ones. He's like, no, they have a certain amount of them. There should be fine. Naturally, get the call or the email. Hey, it's going to be delayed. So they said that they're expecting them to be delivered, on their way to me March 5th or 6th. Which, if I'm not mistaken, the 200th episode is like the following week. So they better like get to me. I gotta get them in the boxes, wrapped, shipped, on their way. So you guys should be getting your boxes. My Ottawa people, you'll get them the day I get those stands. It'll be the last thing that we're waiting for, and we'll just get it in the box, get it wrapped up, and I'll get it to you. But, yeah, very excited for, to get these things to you guys. And the phone stands, man, everybody wants one. There's some people who only want a phone stand. It's just going to delay, but I can't wait. We're going to have so much cool shit to show. All right. That's enough about the box. If you want one, guys, they're 125 Canadian. So my American listeners, that's, I think we did the conversion. It's somewhere around $97. So it's $100 for you, $100 plus shipping wherever you are, unless you're local, in which I can just come and give it to you. But, we've got a few of these left. Contact at onemanpodcast.com. Take a look at the Instagram page. I'll post some more pictures of the stuff I've got so far. Cannot wait to get these in your hands. I can't wait for them to come here so that I can start wearing my shit and promoting it and using it. I'm having a blast. I'm having an absolute blast. And while I'm doing all this stuff, I've been watching some shows. So I probably won't go through all of them, or maybe I will. Maybe it'll just be a longer episode. You guys can enjoy it as you see fit. I've been watching some stuff. And I've been kind of moonlighting, been whoring around with just about everybody, playing on all the platforms. I think Amazon Prime is the only one that I didn't fuck with. And I didn't fuck with, as the kids say. Yo, you fuck with Amazon Prime? Yeah, motherfucker, I don't fuck with. You fuck with Disney Plus? Yeah, I fuck with Disney Plus. I watched, okay, let's start. I even put the thing. So on Crave, I believe it was Crave TV. That's where I get my new release movies and my HBO Crave. Free plug for them. Thank you very much. I watched a movie called The Turning. The Turning. It had, I don't know her name, but she's the chick who played Grace. Oh, I'm glad I remember the character's name. Grace in Terminator Dark Fate. So she played the human hybrid who had been enhanced, I guess. So she played this like nanny who's looking after these two kids in a house, and is it haunted? What's going on in this house? And blah, 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 blah. Shit movie. Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, the guy who played Eleven's boyfriend. I don't remember what his name is in that. Mike was his name. Nice and easy Mike. Yeah. Mike from Stranger Things. He was in that. He just plays the kind of like a bad kid and whatever. It got a shit score on Rotten Tomatoes. I really wish I'd looked at it first. I just saw, I'm like, oh, The Turning, that's got like, there's good actors in it. So I was like, oh, maybe this will be good. Yeah, I really didn't like, it was mildly entertaining through the whole movie. And then the ending just fucked all of it up. Bad. Anyways, I'll keep it short. Some kind of like, there wasn't even really any like jump scares in it. It was like, she'd leave a room and then you would see a ghost standing there and then just slowly turning their head, and not like one of those creepy M. Night Shyamalan ghosts, or like, what's his face? Guillermo del Toro, like Mama, where it's like a creepy, withered, saggy, where you can't even see its face because it's just hair hanging in front of it. And it just, it wasn't like one of those ghosts where you're like, oh, fuck. And it's creepily turning its head to where it would be like a full on dude where you're just like, oh, I can see the dude. It's like some old timey guy. He looked like, Chris Cornell or like the Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? Just got like that long, short, again, what's with the fucking oxymorons? Like he's got a short haircut, like down to maybe the bottom of his chin, but it's like the long hairs in his face. You know what I mean? And he just sort of like turns towards her when she leaves her, like, okay, but she didn't see you. So what the fuck is going on here? Like, so you're showing me that there's ghosts. You're letting us know that there's ghosts, but it's just looking at her. Like there's no scare for her. Aren't we supposed to empathize with the character? Just stupid. Called The Turning. Don't waste your time. All right. Yeah. And like the twist at the end. So I had to watch, there's this cool little YouTube channel that I've checked out a few times in the past, and I've checked out a few times this week after movies, just for fun. Any movie I watch now, I'm like, I'll throw this on. It's a channel from Found Flicks, I believe is the channel name. And they have this series called Ending Explained. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it before, but if you're ever watching a movie and you're like, what the fuck was that? Check out one of these things afterwards, because the dude will just sort of talk about things. He might bring on some stuff that you missed in the movie. A lot of times if you're watching like a horror movie or something like that, or something suspenseful, like, maybe you're not always zoned into it, but there's a lot of these ones, and like, especially for like bad horror. So like, they even talk about how like The Turning had like a theatrical ending or like an alternate ending that made a little more sense, but was never released. And they'll talk about some of the things that, maybe just a throwaway line that someone mentioned, or sort of just putting some pieces back together for you. Like, oh, that's right. They did say that. Yeah. I forgot about that. And again, for me, who I'm sitting here folding boxes and labeling and shit like that while the movie's playing. So maybe not every scene, that's the thing too, about like putting something on while you're doing something else. You stop and you like stare at the TV. But the thing is, sometimes when there's no audio, right? Like I'm sitting here. I think I watched Game of Thrones like that, where like I'd be doing other shit. So if someone said something, like I'd pay attention. But if someone was like walking down a corridor and like, maybe you see like someone walks into a room and they see two people together that shouldn't be together, and it's like a big plot thing. Well, if they're not saying anything, it's just music playing or whatever, and I'm working on something, it's like, oh, you just missed something very important, and that's why shit doesn't make sense. So these Ending Explains are great, because if you're doing something else with something on in the background, maybe you miss something that kind of the linchpin that holds everything together. It'll point that shit out for you. So, yeah, but that wasn't the case with The Turning. Thought, oh, did I miss something that made this movie good? I most certainly did not. I watched Soul, Soul, on Disney Plus. The movie Soul, because I think that one came out on Christmas Day or something, and everyone was like, oh, I watched Soul. Did you watch Soul? I watched Soul. I started watching it earlier in the week, and I got about 20 minutes in, and I really lost interest in it. But a lot of people were like, oh, well, it's like the ending's really sweet, and it's this and that. It's really good. I was like, okay, well, I will give it a shot. It's a Disney Pixar movie. I put it back on. Jamie Foxx plays the main character. Tina Fey's his little sidekick in that movie. I really didn't like it. It's broad strokes. Let me see how good I am at giving a broad stroke synopsis. Broad strokes is Jamie Foxx is a jazz enthusiast. He's very good at playing the piano. He's very good at his jazz, but he's like a high school music teacher. Right. I guess just never worked out for him. He's got an audition for, he's got an audition to play in a very well-respected jazz group. He goes to said audition. He crushes it. This is all very early in the movie. I'm not telling you that. If he goes to his audition, crushes it. She goes, come back tonight. We'll see what you got, like for a live audience or whatever. And he's like, yay. And he's walking on sunshine down the streets of New York, steps into a manhole, an open manhole, with no explanation of why there's an open manhole. And then just falls to his death. Which I don't know any manholes that have a fall that far that you can kill yourself. We're not talking about like one of those air vents where you'd fall down no, just a manhole cover, and falls down to his death. Now he's up in the afterlife and he needs to come back because he wants to know some things were just getting good for me. My life had no meaning before. And finally this is happening for me. And he runs into, tries to find a way back to Earth and then runs into another soul that, doesn't want to live, doesn't want to go to Earth. And he needs their Earth pass. He tries jumping through this hole to head to Earth. And, they're little concepts. You're kind of this seems particularly procedural for, souls in the afterlife to come to Earth. So I really didn't like the way that they set up the Tina Fey character, this person who doesn't want to go to Earth. I really didn't like, they were saying that we can't find anyone that wants to make 22 is their name, is soul number 22 to go to Earth because they just don't see the point of life in it. Why do I want to go? And all the most famous and intelligent and souls throughout time, Mother Teresa was her mentor and Mother Teresa couldn't convince her to go live a life. And these famous psychologists couldn't teach her, and Abraham Lincoln couldn't encourage her to go. All these great minds throughout history couldn't convince her. But finally she accidentally goes to Earth with this guy and hanging out with this real stick in the mud jazz guy about how oh, my life had no meaning before jazz. That's the thing that changes her mind. Spoiler alert. But it was really let's put it this way. They laid it on too thick for her not wanting to come to Earth. Instead of just being I just don't see the point. Instead they're oh no, the best minds throughout history. And yet this guy who really boring character, Jamie Foxx's character, very, very boring. He has a mother that doesn't support him. And then he literally goes, music's my life. And she goes, oh my God. And then she becomes the most supportive thing of all. It was like the Martha scene in Batman versus Superman. Both our moms are named Martha. That's because nobody at DC is creative. That's why all of the fucking superheroes are orphans and they all have the same powers. Anyways, complaining, not whining, complaining. I'll wear it all day. This motherfucker complains on his podcast. Look, I'm giving a review. Fuck you. You guys watch a goddamn review video. And if that guy says something sucks, it's just a review. Well, this is a fucking review. It's not a complaint. All right. It is, but it's a review. I'm saying what I did. Fuck you. You know what? Fuck you, onesie. Why is there one less download next week? No, I'm just saying, sometimes these Disney movies, I liked when Pixar, I've talked about this before, the decline of Pixar, but I liked when Pixar had a message and it was fun. Onward was fun. Right. The two elves, it's a cute little take on, fairy tale creatures in the modern day world. I found that interesting and it had a nice little message. It was, cheesy and hokey, but it was entertaining throughout. The Soul one, I really didn't find that it was very entertaining. They tried to have that nice message at the end or whatever, but it was just I don't know. I found it really hokey. If you're going to tell me the best minds throughout history, weren't able to convince this soul that life was worth living, yet her just spending one day, basically it was her on one day and trying pizza for the first time. Oh my God, this is amazing. Finding a fucking acorn and being oh, this grows, isn't this beautiful? any of these great minds were able to paint Einstein? In fact, Einstein's the one who said that there's two ways to look at the universe, as one as if nothing is a miracle and the other as if everything is a miracle. Like, you're telling me all these great minds, they couldn't convince her, but just hanging out in a shitty part of New York for a day, eating pizza and finding seeds, like that's the big change. The message is supposed to be that, like, oh, like, everything in life is amazing, and just because you're not getting what you want doesn't mean that. I don't know. I definitely bottom 25% of Pixar movies, in my opinion. All right, moving on. I watched. Let's stick with Disney Plus for half a second here. The other one I watched was Brave. That's an old Disney movie about a redheaded archer whose mom turns into a bear and doesn't want to marry a prince or something. All over the place. Garbage. There's a reason that I never heard of it or anything like that. Nice animation. As always, Pixar does a great job with their animation. Top notch, undeniably. But just boring. The story's kind of all over the place. The fuck is going on? Like, sometimes they go so much into the jokes where you're like, okay, but remember, you still have a plot to move forward. You can't just make stupid scenes and expect me to give a fuck. DreamWorks came up beside them. You know what I mean? DreamWorks coming in with the Shrek movies. They went on too long, but the first couple of Shreks were nice. The, How to Train Your Dragon. The first one was good. The second one, I think they brought, but that good, creative new sort of story. You know what I mean? I like that shit. I'm trying to think if there's any other DreamWorks ones that really stood out. But anyways, Brave was a redheaded archer princess whose family is looking for a suitor for her, and she doesn't want to just marry whoever they're telling her to marry. And then it's her mother who's forcing her to this, and then her mother turns into a bear. And then, does she learn her lesson? Probably, I don't know. I never even got to the end. Don't care. Probably never watched it again. But hey, if you loved Brave and I got it wrong, message me. Send me an email. I want to hear it. I'd love to get someone else's opinion. Someone who never whines. Someone it's just constructive criticism. When you do it, Josh, it's whining. When I do it, it's fine. It's just an observation. What else? I watched a movie called The Banker. I switched over to Apple TV Plus. All right. And I watched a movie called The Banker. This had Anthony Mackie in it. If you don't know who Anthony Mackie is, he played Falcon in the Marvel, the MCU. And he also, the first thing I ever saw him in was he played Papa Doc in 8 Mile. So the person that Eminem needs to go up against at the end, loses to in the beginning, goes up against in the end. That's Anthony Mackie. So he played... he was in this movie with Samuel L. Jackson. So Anthony Mackie, Samuel L. Jackson, Nicholas Hoult, who played Beast in the new X-Men movies and some other things. He played R in Warm Bodies. Warm Bodies. He's been in a bunch of other stuff too. I think he was a child actor, but he's in it. And Nia Long, who played Will Smith's wife in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So they're in this. It's called The Banker. It's about this young black man in, I believe it's the 50s, who very, very smart, studies sort of banking and finance and things like that, and trying to better himself, increase his stature. And he and Samuel L. Jackson start buying properties and, increasing they're just increasing their stature in life by owning properties and whatnot. But it shows how like they were black guys buying properties in whites only neighborhood where there was actual like segregation. Where it's whites only neighborhoods and they were buying buildings in there, and the shit that they went through to the point where they finally end up, they buy a building that houses 3 banks, which made it so that they could basically kind of call some shots on these banks, right, as their landlords. Like, well, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to kick you out. Like, these are guys who couldn't even get an appointment in the bank because they were black. You know what I mean? So you can't even go to this bank and get an appointment. Then all of a sudden they're the landlords of this building. And then to the point where they actually bought to own their own bank to be able to help out the communities and give loans to black people who deserved it. And great, interesting movie. I won't tell you how it ends, but it was really interesting to see. It was fucking sad at other times to just see how, like, again, I don't even want to ruin the scenes for you, but just to see like these guys were so legitimate, upstanding citizens, everything like that. And every The racism in it was fucking unbelievable. To shine a light, just some day-to-day dealings to see it. You know what I mean? Like there's the standard, people yelling the N-word at them and stuff like that, and vandalizing their property because it's, black owned or whatever. But just to like the day-to-day conversations that they would have, like with the police or with tenants, like I'm your landlord, but the way people are talking to me, you can't own this building, blah, 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 like things like that. Just, you got to see it. If you have Apple TV Plus, there's a lot of great shows on it, by the way, great shows and movies. The Banker is one that I thoroughly enjoyed watching. And it was cool to see, and it sort of just, it gives it shines more of a light on, just what the plight of the black man has been through, and woman. I don't know why it's like, are you allowed to say that? I'm pretty sure you're allowed to say, Black Lives Matter. You can't be like, oh, it's black. You can't call it black. Yeah. The plight of African Americans in North America. It's fucked. Yeah, but great movie. Very well done. Amazing performances by everybody in that movie. I got three more to bang out here. How are we doing for time? That's like quarter after the hour. I watched, we're still on Disney Plus on Friday, right at 3 a.m. I was up overnight stickering boxes. I put on the new series WandaVision from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the first TV series from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Come on. WandaVision, which is the story of Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, and Vision, of course, who had the, Infinity Stone, the Mind Stone ripped out of his head in Infinity War. And that was the last we saw of him. So he's here with Wanda, and it's based off of a comic book called WandaVision, and I don't know anything about it. All I know is that when I was collecting the comics for my buddy Nick digitally, I saw the covers of WandaVision, where it's like kind of like this Leave It to Beaver neighborhood where they kind of live together. And that's sort of all I could gather from the comics. I was like, oh, this is interesting. So it's kind of like I guess an homage to like the golden era of TV shows or whatever. Right? Like the Bewitched and Leave It to Beaver and, Honeymooners and that kind of thing. So there's only 2 episodes out so far. They launched with 2 episodes. And the first episode was very like kind of Leave It to Beaver. If you're looking at the show expecting to be like superheroes and Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's not that. It's so funny though, because they capture the essence of those old black and white TV shows immaculately. The humor is funny for back then, and it's funny for now. They've done a great job of merging the two together, but the camera angles are like perfect, like 3 camera setup. Every now and again, they'll get cinematic and they'll change the angle to something that you wouldn't have seen in a show back then. Very rarely, but it has the right effect to let you know that like this isn't real. What's happening to them isn't real. Something else is going on behind it. But the jokes, the style, oh no, honey, my boss is coming to dinner tonight. Like what a mess this will be. Is captured perfectly. And they seem to go, so the first episode seems to take place somewhere in like the 50s. The second episode is more like Bewitched style, and it happening kind of more of the 60s. Like you see like just the styles of homes and everything. And it looks like every episode they're going to move forward in time. But I just can't, like, if you have, take a look at it. If you watch the show expecting to see, Infinity War or something like that, you're going to be disappointed. Watch the show thinking, at least the 2 that are out so far is, and you see more to it too. Like they're definitely hinting at shit's going on. So that's becoming a thing. But if you watch it thinking, I'm going to see like a really funny, not necessarily parody, but like parody homage, to like classic television with these 2 characters who still have their powers and everything. They still have their powers. He's still an android or whatever. So he still has his powers. She still has her powers, but to watch it with what they got going on, I really enjoyed it. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what the plot is, but I just watched 2 episodes where they were basically kind of parodying 2 of the shows from the era, and thoroughly enjoyed. So WandaVision on Disney Plus, worth a watch in my opinion. It'll be interesting. I can probably give it a better recommendation when it's all out. There's people who want to wait until everything's out there to watch it, then by all means. And I know some of my listeners have Disney Plus. I would love to know what you guys thought of those first 2 episodes. If you're not familiar with those shows, maybe you hated it. I know somebody who's like, I've never seen those shows. This was stupid. It's like, not when you know the source material. And I don't mean the comic books, but like when you know the shows that they're actually making fun of. Like it's funny that she's the Scarlet Witch and they used Bewitched as kind of like a premise or a basis. So very, very, very entertaining. I was definitely entertained throughout, laughing my ass off. And they did such, holy fuck, you really had to know the style back then to be able to parody it so well. But at the same time, like, it was great. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I watched, okay, so let's go 2 more. So I watched the entire Bond series, from Daniel Craig, like the Daniel Craig Bond series. So I watched Casino Royale, which I'd seen before, and I thought it was okay. It's a lot of action. Like James Bond, really, there's not really a whole lot of plot to those movies. It's always world domination, and then James Bond needs to like jump on a crane, swing through a building, land in an Aston Martin, do backflips of the Aston Martin, drive it up a staircase, doing backflips so he can jump out of it to grab a helicopter, and then climb into the helicopter, have a fight scene in the helicopter as it tail spins downwards so he can throw the guy out, grab the helicopter, pull it up as it explodes into a building, and he jumps out of it right in the nick of time to land on top of a train, to grab a tank off the train, drive the tank. You know what I mean? Like it's so over the top, insane action. And I like action, but when the scene's like 20 minutes long, it's like, holy fuck. Like this is like the Bond movies now, maybe they always were. They're just a Fast and the Furious movie. There's really no plot to them anymore. It's like, there's a couple of beautiful women that I would be like, hello, I'm 007. Oh, you're a cheeky bastard, aren't you? Perhaps I am, but are you a bad girl? And then just immediately like melt and like mega, like James Bond should have been Me Too'd 1,000 times in the series. There's women like telling him no, and he's like, shut up, and just shoves them up against the wall, starts making it. And they're like, they resist, and then they just, like James Bond is toxic masculinity. It's like, I think that's all it is. Now, you could get by with it, and some people are like, it's tradition or whatever. And sure, it's tradition. I don't care. It's fine. It's not good. It's not like, if the story in it went well, you know, I like the fact that this was kind of like watching the old James Bonds. I tried watching them years ago. You know, like there's just no story that goes from one to the next. The characters stay the same, but they didn't have like that kind of continuation. So with these, it looked like they were trying to, you know, watching Casino Royale, moving on to Quantum of Solace, the love that he lost, and he's trying to forgive her and let her go. Like that element of the story kind of continues on, you know, and this guy, you know, the last guy you fought, well, this guy, he's the one who's pulling his strings. And then it goes into the next movie, and it's like a little bit of the remnants, and it's like, yeah, but you know, this guy, he's the one who's pulling the strings, and the last guy, oh, really? So like, again, there was really no intelligible story for all of them. And I'm not trying to say that I looked for an Oscar winning whatever. I'm like, it was cool action. A lot of times it was too much. I'm like, okay, just, yeah, I get it. And that's like literally they're like this, they're blowing up helicopters. And like I said, 2 helicopters flying into each other, you know, landing in a tank. Like I'm trying to think of just the most over the top nonsensical shit ever. That's what was going on. So like that's going on. I'm literally back to my boxes, just stickering them, plastering them, wrapping. Like I didn't give a fuck. It was just so too much. Too much. And another thing I don't like, you're whining about James Bond. Shut up. It's too much. It's Fast and Furious. I don't watch Fast and Furious. You know why? The dialogue is stupid. All right. You got Vin Diesel and whoever. The Rock is his big one now. Goddamn Jason Statham. 3, like, I like The Rock, but it's not like he's in there dressed in a tuxedo, you know, playing James Bond. The Rock would probably be a pretty badass James Bond, actually. Come to think of it. But I just mean that like Jason Statham's characters always say the dumbest, hackiest shit. Vin Diesel, are you even fucking... The best role Vin Diesel has ever had has been as the voice of Groot. You know why? Because they barely let him talk. He says like 3 things. That's it. That's the best role he's ever had. Because when he starts to talk, yo, I want all of this and all of that. Watch Triple X. All right? That's James Bond with Vin Diesel. That's all it is. It's dumb. Anyways. I'm whining. But I don't know. I watched them all. And then the last one, because I think the first thing that I saw that made me go, oh, maybe I should watch these James Bond movies. Because I think, like I said, I watched Casino Royale, which was actually good. They had a lot of cool scenes in it where he's got to, drinks the poison. He's got to fucking run to the car and start his heart up again. Some poker hands in it. There was some good action there. The scene where the guy's whipping his balls with the fucking rope. Like there was enough differentiation between kind of the scenes and the tension from the scenes where it was like, okay, that wasn't half bad. Some of the banter was a little stupid, but I get it. That's kind of, I guess, the brand of Bond, where a little bit of hacky, cheesy, corny fucking lines back and forth that seemed to work on these bitches. But then Quantum of Solace I found really dumb. Then the next one after that, I was like, what's even the plot? The one, like they clearly grabbed Javier Bardem for Skyfall. And I was like, yeah, he was popular. His popularity was rising at the time with, him having done No Country for Old Men or whatever. Like they looks like they look at shit and go, okay, who's fucking killing it right now? Let's get that guy. And then I saw Spectre, right? I saw the promos for Spectre, and they grabbed Christoph Waltz as the Bond villain. I was like, brilliant decision. Christoph Waltz, if you don't know who he is the guy who played Hans Landa. I do not expect you to know that name on its own, but Hans Landa played the Nazi the Nazi investigator, soldier, whatever, in Inglourious Bastards. That guy crushed that movie. I don't even care if you don't like the movie, right? It's a Jewish fantasy movie about killing Hitler. It's just like Once Upon a Time in the Hollywood, where it's like, it's a fantasy of, what if they had stopped the guys from killing, what's her face? Oh, come on. You can get it, Josh. You can get it. You know her name. Do I? Fuck. I'll have to pull it up. Hey Siri, what's the name of the actress who got killed by one of Charlie Manson's fuckers? Tex. It's going to come to me.
Okay. I found this on the web for what's the name of the actress who got killed by Charlie Manson fuckers text.
Yeah, Sharon Tate. There it is. Sharon Tate, right? So it's like, what if they had stopped the guys who tried to kill Sharon Tate or whatever, blah, blah. It's just like one of those, what if this thing from history went a different way? I kind of dig that style of movies doing. But Hans Landa, all right, actor Christoph Waltz, holy fuck. That scene in the beginning where he's sitting with the guy at the table and speaking, French and German and English, French and English. Fuck, man, his character could make your skin crawl, right? Every scene where he was sitting there with Shoshana and he's like, attendez le crème. They're eating the strudel, waiting for the cream to come. And she's just like, does he know? Even the audience, does he fucking know who she is? Does he know? Guy spoke English, French, German, and Italian in that movie. And he was fucking killer in that movie. It was incredible. I saw him in the movie Big Eyes by Tim Burton. He was great in that. They used him as the villain in The Green Hornet, the one with Seth Rogen. And like, he was even kind of creepy in that one. Like, so it was like, you got him as a Bond villain. And I was like, yeah, he would be great. And, watching Spectre, there's this big secret society meeting where his face is in shadow. And he's like, we even have a special guest tonight. It's been so long. I'm so glad that we finally get to meet James. And then he turns his head up to where James Bond is standing and he knows everything. Like, and then he's like, I am the author of all of your pain. I've been in charge of this the whole time. You're like, okay, fuck. And I get it. He's the perfect one to have at the top of everything. And then he's just like, he takes them on a guided tour of his facility. He has a little conversation with James Bond through glass, and then he gets shot down in a helicopter, like a little bit. Like he had all the other guys that he fought where it was like tense scenes and this and that. Like he was such a little bitch. And I'm like, he was in charge of all the scarier, dudes. Like, why is anyone afraid? It was such a waste. So there, and I think that they tried to close off the arc where it's like, oh, and he was like, he's your brother. You were adopted by this. Like they tried to give it a lot of weight, but they just, they wasted so much of it with action and stuff like that. And Dave Bautista was good in it. He just played a big tough guy. Yeah, he's a big son of a bitch. Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, if you don't know who I'm talking about. Yeah, he did fine. But they're just nothing to them, man. Like they want to be important. They want you to care about there's nothing to care about. Nothing to care about. Anyways, finally, all right, an hour and a half in, All right. For those of you who are still here, you guys may have left a long time ago. I watched a show on Apple TV called The Servant. And I saw it a while back in terms of like, I saw that it was out and an option. And I saw it was like, you know, from M. Night Shyamalan. And I was like, okay, so let me guess. Great premise, interesting stuff throughout the movie. And then it's going to end super stupid. There's now the second season just came out too, which is maybe why it's back in my face. There are advertisements all over IMDb and stuff like that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it. It's interesting, man. It's weird. It's just fucking weird. So it's a husband and a wife. The husband is a chef, like sort of a consulting chef. So he cooks in his home and, you know, takes, you know, photos of what he does and posts it and stuff like that. You know, and there's times where he's like, oh, he's been invited to go cook for the Philadelphia Eagles, huge honor and stuff like that. Like there's just little things where like, you can just tell he's a very accomplished chef. He tries to make like lobster ice cream in one of the episodes and a bunch of stuff. Like, so just very, very, very high, what is it? Not high fashion, but just, you know, not high society. There's not what I'm looking for, but just very elite, palate stuff, you know, whatever, fine dining, extreme fine dining is what he does. And then the wife is like a TV personality in terms of like a reporter, but she's always on the scene in these things, you know, oh, today we're underground cleaning out the fucking, you know, sewers under our city, blah, blah, just shit like that. So that's what she's doing. So, show's called The Servant. And in the very first episode, it's like, you know, they hire this young girl as a nanny for their baby. And then when they finally introduce her to the baby, it's like this doll. And it turns out that something like their child had died. So this is like, you know, the mother's like, okay. And she's like treating the baby like it's alive and everything like that. And then, you know, the nanny's sitting there like holding this baby and then the husband's like, okay, she's gone now. You can put the doll down. So what happened is we lost our baby. We got this rebirth doll or reborn doll or whatever they call it. And it's like she went catatonic and this doll is the only thing that brought her back. A friend suggested it. And, you know, we trying to keep up the charade for the time being to keep her functioning. And now she's too busy to be able to take care of it for herself. So he goes, look, you've been paid till the end of the month. Feel free to, you know, just do your thing. And, you know, during the day, like, you know, when she's here, keep up the charade. And then you can just, you know, during the day, feel free to, you know, jump on a train, go into the city, live your life, enjoy yourself, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, that's okay. I don't mind. Like, she's not like, it's kind of odd, very like odd character where she's like, oh, I'm good. I'll just spend my time with Jericho, the name of the kid. She's like, I think it's about time I took him for his walk now. And she like takes it, puts it in the stroller, like goes. So the husband's like, what the fuck? And then things just progress from there. I don't want to ruin anything for you. It's weird. It gets weirder. The cast is predominantly 4 people and most of the shit is happening in the house. Like there's very, very rarely, like maybe not even once an episode, a scene of anything happening outside of the house. And if it is, it's like someone in a car, one of the main characters in a car on their phone talking to someone back at the house or whatever. So, like it's really, really well done. The characters are fucking weird. You don't know what's going on. Things you're kind of like, who is the fucking weirdo? Who's the one with the secret? Who's like, what is going on? But it's called The Servant. I've only watched up until the end of the first season, and I even had to go onto one of those ending explain things to figure out sort of like, what did I miss something while I was working on something? And there were a few parts that I missed. I guess, like I said, those silent moments where if I'm doing something else, I don't realize that they're looking at something that has significance, you know, finding a symbol or a newspaper clipping or whatever. Some of this shit you got to actually be paying attention to, but I've been so busy working on things, I can't just sit and stare at the TV. So, all right, listen, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. All right. I am having fun. I'm loving my life right now. Thank you for all of the birthday wishes and calls. I did love and appreciate every one of them. I'm very excited to, I can't wait to show you guys more stuff from this box. I can't wait to get it into your hands. I'm so thrilled. I'm having so much fun. Listen, everything's great. You guys are great. Thanks for listening to me whine and complain. I think that, you know, as much as I'm sitting here, you know, giving my 2 cents and my feedback on shit, like, I know sometimes I'm like, yeah, things are rough. You know, this is my journal. For all intents and purposes, the One Man Podcast is my journal of what I do. It's a chronicle of my life. Sometimes things are frustrating. This is my outlet. I appreciate that you guys are listening to it. But, if everyone could read your thoughts on everything, you yourselves are not just, hey, I'm always positive. And trust me, if you're that person who's just always positive, please take me off your list the day you climb a clock tower from repressing all of your feelings and shit. I've even got an idea for something I'm going to be doing on the 200th episode that you guys will probably, I would love to hear your feedback when I play it, because it'll be the contrast of what this podcast is actually like, and then say, is that really what you want? The opposite version of that. Is that really what you're after? Anyways, you guys enjoy yourselves. Thank you for listening to me talk in whatever category you put it in. I do appreciate it. I do love each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful that you guys spend your time with me every week. More fun stuff coming up. So I got an interview tomorrow with my friend Jen LaBelle. That's Thursday, so I'm going to record with her, and I'll try to have it out for Friday. So there might be a second episode this week, but we're going to be doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got more interviews on the way. I'm booking tons of stuff. I've got thumbs up so I've got at least that big bonus episode with Victoria is a green light for the USB drive. So you'll have a bonus episode with me, and you'll have bonus episode with my interview with Victoria. Still waiting on one more person to give me the thumbs up, but so far they're listening to the episode again to make sure they're cool with everything, and so far they are, so far everything sounds good. So let's go full steam ahead. So things sound good. All right, listen, you guys are the best. I'm gonna see if I can get a meal kit made and stuff before the sun comes up, keeping all the lights off in the house, keeping everything nice and dark. Hope you guys have a great week. I can't wait to talk to you again soon.